Inge the Skald arrives at the frost-laden banks of the Fýrisvellir, setting his harp gently on a rock as dawn breaks. He prepares to record the deeds soon to unfold, his keen gaze measuring the battlefield. Jarl Erik leads his disciplined war band across the Fýrisvellir, his chainmail gleaming under a winter sun. His booming voice rallies the warriors, setting the tone for the legendary clash. Shield Maiden Freydis checks her weapons, determination burning in her eyes. She steels herself beside the column, vowing to carve a legend with her own hands. Young Sigvald, his heart racing, trails behind the veterans of the host. He clutches his sayax and dreams of glory, struggling not to stumble. Inge observes as tensions rise. The clang of swords and rattling shields punctuate the cold air. He hums a runic verse, weaving anticipation into his memory. Jarl Erik assembles his captains around a fire, laying out plans for the maneuver that will decide the fate of Fýrisvellir. Freydis sharpens her sword by torchlight, whispering a vow to the gods to protect her kin and earn eternal renown in saga and song. Sigvald listens to tales of old battles, his awe growing as the hearth flickers. The veterans' scars and laughter inspire mingled respect and hope. With moonlight silvering the marsh, Inge crafts verses under the stars, seeking words fit for the blood that may cleanse Fýrisvellir come dawn. Jarl Erik walks the midnight camp, inspecting the sentries and exchanging murmured encouragements, his presence a steadying force before chaos. Freydis shares a quiet moment with fellow shield maidens, clasping hands and exchanging oaths beneath the aurora glow. Sigvald tosses and turns, haunted by visions of triumph and dread, his fingers tracing his sayax for comfort. Dawn breaks. Inge stands to witness, wind swirling through his braids as horns sound, and warriors gather in the thin morning light. Jarl Erik hoists his sword skyward, calling all to battle, his war cry echoing across the chilled expanse of Fýrisvellir. Freydis and her shield maidens stride forward as the vanguard, faces grim and determined, thunderous under the clamor of shields. Sigvald joins the battle line, nerves taut as a drawn bow, his place among the shield wall finally earned as the armies converge. Inge's voice rises, reciting a lay to bolster the warriors' spirits as drums and horns shake the field, passions aflame for glory. Erik and Freydis lock eyes before the clash, a silent nod passing between chieftain and shield maiden, each knowing what is staked on this field. The shield walls crash together with earth-shattering force, with Jarl Erik leading a spear thrust and Freydis rallying the left wing. Sigvald is thrown to the mud as the fight intensifies, barely dodging a mace blow. He scrambles, desperate to rejoin his line. Inge's harp rings amid the cacophony, his song piercing the maelstrom and lending courage to faltering Norse hearts. Jarl Erik leads a breakout through the enemy's flank, his sword rising and falling with lethal rhythm amid flying banners and war banners. Freydis plants her shield, anchoring the defense as arrows arc overhead. She urges her warriors to hold fast under relentless pressure. Sigvald, regaining his feet, blocks a sword stroke and delivers his first blow, a desperate act that saves a comrade's life. Inge's staff is struck, knocking him to one knee. Yet he keeps chanting, a wounded bard refusing to quit his post amid flying spears. Erik sustains a wound, blood streaking his cheek, but he fights with renewed vengeance, cutting a path toward the enemy commander. Freydis fells an armored rider with a spinning shield bash, reclaiming ground and drawing cheers from the encircled Norse ranks. Sigvald locks eyes with a fallen friend, determination stiffening his resolve as he presses onward, sword in hand, into the heart of the tumult. Inge gathers his wits, witness to heroism and heartbreak, committing every detail to memory so none may be forgotten. Jarl Erik and the enemy commander clash sword to sword, a defining duel, the fate of the day's battle swaying in the balance. Freydis intercepts a spear meant for Erik, driving back foes with raw power, her presence a rallying beacon for the weary shield wall. Sigvald pulls an injured companion from the mud, his strength and courage recognized by those around him in the brutal push forward. Inge weaves the saga aloud, his battered voice rallying the weary with tales of gods and heroes, memories soon to immortalize the day. Jarl Erik finally drives his foe to his knees, a roar of triumph swelling from the Norse ranks as victory hangs tantalizingly close. Freydis, shoulder bleeding, grabs the Norse banner and lifts it high, turning the tide and igniting fresh courage in her comrades. Sigvald, gasping, finds himself side by side with Erik and Freydis at the battered front, his youthful awe hardened into warrior's resolve. As horns blare over Fýrisvellir, Inge weaves urgent verses, rallying the exhausted fighters. His runic staff is raised, its inscriptions glowing in the morning light. Jarl Erik, wounded but resolute, issues brief commands to his warband, steering them with gestures and shouts through chaos, his mantle stained. Freydis holds the battered vanguard together, shouting Norse war chants and parrying enemy swords with her shield, refusing to give ground. Sigvald, breath ragged, steadies his grip on the shield wall, following Erik's orders. His eyes dart, absorbing the terror and valor of battle. The Norse warband braces as the enemy regroups for a last, furious assault. Inge raises his voice over the clamor, weaving words of fate and glory. Jarl Erik, rallying his blooded men, bellows commands as he staggers to the shield wall, inspiring strength with every word. Freydis, bruised but unbroken, plants herself defiantly at the vanguard, leading her shield maidens in a thunderous, defiant chant. Sigvald, battered but resolute, locks shields with his comrades, his pulse pounding as the enemy surges forward. The warbands collide again, shields cracking, swords flashing, and axes swinging as chaos reigns. The cries of the dying fill the morning air. Inge stands atop a stone, runic staff aloft, his verses ringing out, a living link between gods and mortals. Jarl Erik bellows defiance and challenges the enemy champion in single combat. The battlefield goes tense with anticipation. Their duel is fierce. Blades spark, shield meets shield, and the clash echoes, until Erik, wounded, finds an opening and drives his blade home. Freydis, rallying the shield maidens, raises the war banner high to signal victory. Her cry ripples through the ranks. Sigvald, breathless and awe-struck, carries a wounded comrade to safety before racing back to the lines, heart ablaze with newfound courage.